On January 3rd, LiAngelo Ball, former basketball player turned rapper, released the song Tweaker. It immediately became a hit, debuting at number 29 on the Billboard Hot 100, and as of right now, this recording, it has over 52 million streams on Spotify. It was everywhere. Chances are you've heard it. If you haven't, for copyright reasons, I can't show you the song in this video, so instead I'll play you a cover made by Jewboy Jacob on Instagram.
I might swerve up on that corner, whoa. Bitch, hold on tight, cause I'm tweaking this bitch, not letting shit go.
So why am I, the hard photos guy, talking about this song? Well, on January 30th, he released a music video for the song, and I noticed something. A minute and 5 seconds into the video, this happens. Did you catch that? Watch it one more time. That's right, she's got a point-and-shoot digital camera. When I first saw this, I thought, hey, she's got like a little Canon PowerShot just like I have. That's awesome. But on closer inspection, it wasn't a PowerShot. What is that? And did that little camera actually take these photos? I just had to know. So I started the music video over again and watched intently, hoping to see more of this mystery camera. And 1 minute and 43 seconds into the music video, we get another shot of the point and shoot. And 2 minutes and 53 seconds into the music video, we get a view of the front of the camera. Sadly though, we can't see any markings on it that might tell us the brand or, anything at all about this camera. So if I wanted to figure out exactly what this camera was, I would have to find it the hard way. So I just started Googling digital point-and-shoot camera and scrolled through the images, cross-referencing what I saw with the screenshots that I took from the music video. And all I really knew about this mystery point-and-shoot camera was that it was silver, it had a blue light on the back above like the controls, it had a place to connect a lanyard on the left side of the camera body, and probably the most useful piece of information was that the flash was on the left side of the lens, unlike my PowerShot here where it's on the right. So as I was looking through basically every single digital point-and-shoot camera that you can buy, I came across a few contenders. At first, I thought it might have been the Nikon Coolpix S3500. It's the right shape, it has the flash on the correct side, and it even has that little bit of text that might match what we see here in the screenshot. But the back side of the camera is completely black, so we keep looking. Next, I thought it might have been the Minolta 44. Again, it has the flash in the right place. The camera body is completely silver with that little extra chrome piece around the lens. And it even has a blue light in the correct spot. However, the screen was too small. I wasn't sure if I was ever gonna find it. I was brute forcing my way through, like I said, every digital camera you can currently buy. But then I came across something else. I don't even know what to call it. The Digital Camera 2025 4K 44 megapixel digital cameras for teens, silver digital point-and-shoot camera for kids with 16x zoom, 64 gigabyte SD card compact small camera for boys, girls, teens, kids gift by Smartklik. I'm just gonna call it the Smartklik Pocket Camera. And so far, it was checking all of the boxes. Flash on the left side, completely silver body with that extra chrome around the lens, and that might be the blue LED. This might be it, but I had to be sure. So I looked up a review of the camera on YouTube, and even though the camera in this video was blue, not silver, once I saw this, I knew that this was the camera we were looking for. It did have that blue LED exactly where we needed it to be. And it even had that lanyard connection on the left side of the camera body. And when she turned it on, that's the camera. So the camera used in LiAngelo Ball's Tweaker music video was indeed the Smartklik Pocket Camera. Thank you. However, did it really take these photos? There was one way to find out. So yeah, I bought the camera. For $39.59, how could I not, right? So let's see what it offers. When you first open up the box, which I must say is pretty sturdy and very well made, you're greeted with the camera along with 2 batteries. everything here covered in a protective plastic. The camera itself, when I held it for the first time, felt very cheaply made, like the whole thing was thin plastic that could snap at any moment, but we'll be getting to that later. Underneath this foam insert, we have a thank you note, as well as the instruction manual. Underneath this piece of cardboard, we have all the fun little goodies. A 64GB SD card, wrist strap, a screen cleaning cloth, a little carrying pouch, the charger, which is a USB to USB-C cable, and another lanyard. Overall, for $39.59, it comes with quite a lot. Now, being that this is a digital point-and-shoot camera, I can't help but compare it to my Canon PowerShot, which I use regularly. They are roughly about the same size, but the Pocket Cam feels so much more breakable, I guess. Which makes sense, because depending on where you're looking, the Canon PowerShot can be 2, maybe even 3 times more than the Pocket camera. So of course, it's not going to feel as high quality. Oh, and I almost forgot. Oof. Now when trying to place the battery into the camera, there is a bit of an issue. There is a little tab that blocks you. It's meant to hold the battery in the camera when it's already in there, but because of the shape of the tab itself, to actually get the battery into the camera, you have to do this weird twisting motion as if you're turning a key just to get the battery in there at all. And once the battery's in the camera, if you try to put the SD card in there, it is nearly impossible. So you have to take everything out and then start again, this time putting the SD card in first. My light died, but before we can test the camera, well, we have to charge the batteries. So before I headed to work the next day, wearing my Schlanman Hard Photos merch, available at schlanman.store if you're interested, I charged the Pocket Cam, that way by the time I'd get home, it would be ready to use. Now this brings up an interesting issue that I have with this camera, but it didn't come with an external battery charger. Now my Canon PowerShot has an external charger, meaning that I can charge one battery while I have another battery in my camera, and I could be using my PowerShot around the day while that battery is charging, and when the battery in the camera runs out, I can swap them and continue using the camera. But because the batteries for the Pocket Cam have to be charged internally, I can't use the camera while charging either of the batteries. And that's just, I mean, it's an inconvenience for sure. So after I got back from work, I turned the camera on and was greeted with a welcome screen. Then I was shown the main UI for the video mode of the camera, which I didn't even know this camera had a video mode, so that was a nice surprise. And in the settings, it says that it can shoot up to 4K 30 frames a second, which I just don't believe that. It has to be like 720p, maybe 1080p, that's just scaled up to 4K. And I did take video on this camera. I shot it at 2.7K at 30 frames a second, but again, I'll show you that later and you can decide if you think it's actually 2.7K. But once I realized I was on the video mode, I used the slider on the right side to switch it to photo mode, which I gotta say, using a slider on the side of the camera to toggle between video mode, photo mode, and media viewing mode, it's a weird choice. But now it's time to see what this camera can actually do. So I ran to my bathroom, took some mirror selfies, and honestly, they're not the worst. Sure, the quality is borderline atrocious, but it does have character to it, and the images don't look too dissimilar from my PowerShot, which I use regularly. The video capabilities, though... Oh, there we go. Say hello. Hello. Damn, dude, your hair... My hair looks like shit today. The visuals have that sort of same vintage digital charm that the photos do. However, the audio is just horrendous. Audio test. Blah, blah, blah. It kind of looks like the audio is even delayed. I don't know, something's off there. And speaking of audio, you can hear any time I push a button on this camera while I'm recording. I'm messing around with it, seeing what it can do. That was the sound of me releasing the zoom button from this camera. Speaking of zoom, it says it has 16x zoom, but that's completely digital. Unlike the Canon PowerShot, which has actual optical zoom, you can see the lens distorting and changing shape to fit the zoom. The lens on the Pocket camera doesn't move at all. But then again, it was only 40 bucks, so I get that. Over the next week, I carried the Pocket Cam with me basically everywhere I went. It fits great in my pocket, and sometimes I would completely forget that I even had it on me, which might not be your experience with the camera, all right? I carry a lot of stuff with me daily anyway, so I'm kind of used to having my pockets full. But I took it with me when me and my brother went for a walk with my dog. I had it on me when I went to my friend's house for our weekly alcohol and Super Smash Brothers hangout. And I even used it on Valentine's Day during me and my fiance's Valentine's dinner. And after throwing all those photos into Lightroom Classic and barely editing them at all, they honestly looked great. I spent like less than a minute on each photo. I would basically select one of my own custom presets. If I liked it, I'd move on to the next photo. The quality is not good. The low light capabilities, while better than I expected, are still absolute dog ass. And the flash, the built-in flash on this thing is terrible at doing the one thing it's supposed to do. It can barely illuminate a subject if that person is like more than 3 feet away from the camera itself. However, I think this camera excels in probably one of the most important aspects of a digital point and shoot, and that is the vibes. I mean, just look at these photos. How can you possibly tell me that they are not a vibe? Now, finally, we have to answer the second big question in this video, which is, did this camera actually take these photos from the Tweaker music video? To test this out, I decided to try and replicate a party environment where I could take my own photos. I went to the bathroom. Stay with me on this. I chose my bathroom because we have an LED like disco bulb in there. And I think that would do a great job at replicating a similar party environment to the one that we see in the music video. Side note, don't ask me why I have a disco bulb in my bathroom, because I'm not going to tell you. Anyway, once I had those photos uploaded to my computer and I gave them a simple grade in Lightroom Classic, they turned out pretty great. And when comparing these images, I can pretty confidently say that I believe that the photos in the music video were indeed taken on the Smartklik Pocket Camera. So what are my overall thoughts on the Smartklik Pocket Camera? Honestly, I kind of love it. It was a lot of fun to use, even with its minor inconveniences, and again, the photos, they are a vibe. I even posted the photos that I took on Valentine's Day onto my Instagram. Now, obviously, the Pocket Camera will not be taking the place of my Canon PowerShot as my go-to digital point and shoot, because the Canon PowerShot is better in every single way. But it is a fun camera, and I'll be probably giving it to my brother to use as his day-to-day point and shoot. So if you don't already have a digital point and shoot camera and you're not willing to spend like $150 to $200 on something like the Canon PowerShot, I would highly recommend the Smartklik Pocket Camera. It's a great camera to add to your everyday carry, to take to events, and if you're not already into photo editing, this would be a great reason to start trying it out, you know, throwing these photos into a photo editor and see if you can vibe them up a little bit, I guess you could say, so you can get the most out of the images that you take on this $40 camera. And maybe after a while, after carrying this camera around with you every day, pushing it to its fullest potential, or it breaks, I don't know, I really doubt these things last very long, but maybe after experiencing the joy of having a pocket point and shoot digital camera, you're ready for an upgrade? Well, do I have the camera for you?